Want to open an EU company and save tens of thousands of euros in taxes every year? Then Cyprus might be the right choice for you. Because in Cyprus, you can open a company in just under 2 weeks and enjoy one of the lowest corporate tax rates that Europe has to offer, and you'll also benefit from 65 double tax treaties worldwide. Now in this video, I'll explain the benefits of opening a company in Cyprus, walk you through each step of the incorporation process, and at the end, I'll provide you with a cost overview. So let's get started. The main benefit of opening a company in Cyprus is no surprise. It's the taxes, of course. The corporate tax rate here is just 12.5%, which is about 40 to 60% lower than most other European countries. On top of that, you'll pay 0% tax on dividend received from foreign companies and 0% capital gains tax on investment in securities like stocks and bonds. Second, Cyprus is fully compliant with EU regulations and is therefore not considered a tax haven or offshore jurisdiction. And that means that you get all the tax advantages without any of the scrutiny or stigma that comes with a tax haven status. Thirdly, the process is fast. You can have your company up and running in just 2 weeks, as I mentioned. And finally, even though Greek is the official language on the island, English is widely spoken everywhere in business, so you'll have no problem communicating or getting things done here. Now, if you want to know more about why Cyprus is the best choice for opening a company in Europe, check out this video we made on the benefits of opening a company in Cyprus. So now that you know some of the benefits, how do you actually go about setting up a company in Cyprus in the first place? Well, let me walk you through the steps. The first thing you need to do is to appoint a local lawyer to handle the incorporation, because only a licensed lawyer here can sign off and file the required paperwork. Additionally, since all the paperwork is in Greek, having a steady legal hand to assist you is very helpful. And if you're looking to set up a company in Cyprus, check out the link in the description box or go to Clover Tax and we will be there to assist you. Next up is gathering all the necessary documents for the incorporation. And you do not need to visit Cyprus to set up a company here, but each shareholder will need to provide some private documents, such as a copy of your passport, utility bills, sometimes bank statements, and so on. But your lawyer will know what's required. Step 3 is choosing a name for your company, which needs to be pre-approved by the government. Now this process usually takes somewhere between 3 to 5 days to complete, but if you're in a hurry, your lawyer can usually provide you with a list of pre-approved names to get you started immediately, and you can always change your name later. Next, your lawyer will prepare 3 key documents: the memorandum, the article of association, and the statement of capital. This is where you define who the shareholders are, how many shares the company has, the value of each share, and how they're divided between the owners. The usual share capital is around 1,000 euros, but there is no official minimum. Another big advantage of setting up a company in Cyprus is that there are no restrictions on company ownership. Anyone, regardless of nationality, can open a company and own 100% of its shares. Step 5. By law, every company in Cyprus must appoint at least 1 director and 1 secretary. To maintain a company's tax residency status in Cyprus, the majority of the company's directors must also be Cypriot tax residents themselves. Now, if you don't meet this requirement yourself, you can appoint a local nominee director through your legal partner instead to ensure you don't run into any trouble and stay compliant with Cypriot law. And when it comes to the secretary, it's recommended that you appoint a nominee here as well, rather than taking on the role yourself. It makes things a lot easier. The secretary handles local bureaucracy for you. You avoid language issues and ensure you meet all key deadlines for VAT, tax returns, annual filings, and more. Let's move on to step number 6. Like all companies, yours must also have a business address in Cyprus. This address serves as the official point of contact for government communication, and I'd recommend using a service provider here as well, even if you live in Cyprus, because it gives you a stable, compliant, and professional address that's always monitored during working hours. That means you won't miss any legal notices or government letters, even if you're traveling, busy, or moving. And most providers also provide mail scanning and forwarding as part of this service. At this point, you will have gathered, prepared, and signed all the necessary documents, and once your company's name has been approved by the government, you're ready to submit your application. Processing takes about 2 weeks, as I mentioned, and once completed, you'll receive your certificate of incorporation. Once your company has been incorporated, it must register with the Cyprus Tax Department to obtain a tax identification number. And if your company will be engaging in trading or providing services, not just acting as a holding company, you'll also need to register it for VAT as well. Otherwise, you can't legally operate. Next, you'll need to open a business bank account. But unless you specifically require a local bank, go with an online option like Revolut. You'll be up and running in just a few days, while getting an account with a local bank can take up to 3 months. So start online. You can always open a local bank account later if needed. And last but not least, every Cyprus company must appoint a licensed local auditor at the time of incorporation to handle your company's annual financial statements. And since most auditors are accountants, they will typically provide bookkeeping for you as well. Before we move on to setup costs and annual fees, there is one more optional step worth mentioning. Certain industries, like the financial services, are regulated in Cyprus and require a license to operate. For most of you, this will not be an issue, but if you're unsure, it's worth checking early to avoid any problems later down the line. And that's it, you're all set. It looks like a lot of work, but with expert assistance from your legal partner, you'll be up and running in no time. Now that we covered the setup process, let's take a quick look at what it actually costs to open and run a company in Cyprus. Fees usually range from 1,750 for a basic setup to roughly 4,000 euros depending on the services you need, such as the nominee director, secretary, or registered office. Keep in mind though that these services, such as the registered office, director, and secretary, are provided on an annual basis and therefore must be renewed each year. A serious provider will charge you between 400 and 600 euros per year for the registered office address and the nominee secretary, respectively, while the nominee director, which carries way more responsibility and legal risk, usually range from 1,000 to 2,000 euros per year depending on the complexity that is involved. As for accounting, costs depend on the number of transactions your company makes per year, but prices generally start around 100 euros per month. A word of caution though, be wary of surprisingly cheap offers. They often cut corners, lack proper licensing, or disappear when you need them the most. Some aren't even legally allowed to offer these services. At the end of the day, you are the one legally responsible, so make sure the people handling your setup are qualified. And finally, if someone claims you can register everything yourself online, that's simply not true. As I mentioned earlier, only a licensed lawyer in Cyprus can legally sign off on the paperwork. And that's it. Once your Cyprus company is up and running, you get to enjoy a long list of tax advantages that make Cyprus one of the best places to do business in Europe. If you found this video helpful, hit the like button, drop a comment, and subscribe for more real, practical ways to build your wealth and optimize your taxes legally.